Hello, friends. All right, so for this video series, I'm actually planning to go back in time a little bit. I've learned a ton in terms of production and mixing, songwriting and arrangement, and just there's a couple of songs that I've done in the past that I really believed in. I really love the song, but I don't feel I did them justice in some of the production side, and certainly not in the mix. So, in this series, I'm going to dive into one of those songs and try to bring it up to the level that I'm at now. May not be to the level of everybody, but it's definitely a huge jump forward from where I was when I first made this song a little over a year ago. Um, the song is "Humble King." You can go listen to it out there now. But what I really want to do is take a lot of the feedback that I've gotten on the song. I got a lot of really positive feedback on uh, the rhythm, the feel of the song, the lyrics, but just there's a few areas where it fell short. Um, and I'm going to go through real quick with you guys some of the feedback. So I've been sending it out to Groover, um, or sending a lot of my tracks out to Groover when they come out, and yes, I'd like to get on the playlist, but more than anything, it's an opportunity for me to get ears on these songs, and get some honest feedback on why they do or don't like them. And I do this with all my songs. I've actually got um, a scoring model that I use where I look at feedback on the vocal, on the lyric, the melody, just trying to understand. You can see up there across the top. I'm just trying to understand um, what it is that resonates and what where I need to really improve. Um, and one of the mix and master, you'll see here. My mix and mastering skills are that's probably accurate, right? They I'm not a professional mixer, although I'm getting much better. As you can kind of see, the red gets less red as you go through time, and I get better at my productions. But really, this is just a way for me to see where do I need to grow. And in this case, the mixing. And one way to do that is to take the feedback and try to incorporate into the track and improve it. So that's what I'm doing here. So specifically on Humble King, um, basically I'm just taking all of the comments specifically on Humble King, and in this column here, this column L, I have uh, weeded out some of the comments that are specific to the mix itself. So this one, I declined because I felt like the mix could use a bit of work. Not very instructive, apart from your mix needs some work. But there's a couple of things that I think kind of pop to the surface here. So here, the arrangement lacks aesthetics that I feel would help make the song more appealing. So to me, that's a little bit on production, but also in the mix, I could do a better job of bringing forward some of those interesting components and not be scared to bring them forward. I mean, to me, what that says is I didn't make the decision at the beginning of the mix of what needs to be front and center, and I didn't know at that point. And I'm getting a lot more brave in that aspect of, hey, these two or three things are core to my song, and everything else supports that. Has really helped my production and mixes. All right, so the next comment here: this track is vocally too spacious, somewhat echoey sounding, feels too much of a live feeling. Um, I overdid the reverb for sure. And sometimes you get a comment, like I've had comments where it comes in and says, your vocal is too far forward in the mix, or your vocal is too far back in the mix. And that's back to back comments. Uh, and for a while, I was saying to myself, you know what? That just means it's right. That means, if one guy thinks it's too much and one guy thinks it's not enough, that's telling me I'm where I need to be. And I, to some extent, that's true. But to the comment I made earlier, that to me now says I did not um, pick. In mixing, I didn't sit down and say, these are the core elements of the song. They need to be front and center. If everybody said the vocal's too loud, um, then it probably is too loud. But if a lot of people say it's too loud and a lot of people don't comment on it, that means, you know what? I made that choice, and, um, it's, it's showing in the mix, the decision that I made. And that's more of an artistic choice than it's just a bad mix. All right, so the next one here, the vocals didn't suit my taste enough for me to add. Something going on in the vocals, right? Two comments on the vocal. The overall sound style, mix mastering needs a better process. Again, the mix just isn't good enough. Vocals are definitely raw, but not in a bad way. So that's actually they like the vocal itself, and the way it was recorded. So that doesn't mean take my vocal and trash it. There's definitely something there. All right, the next one, utilize the instrumentals on this track without having any single one try to overpower the other. Good balance in the mix. So it's excellent that the balance was there throughout the track. The beat sounded weirdly dull, like it was blocked by something. There's a couple comments about the beat. They like the beat, they like the vibe, but they sounded kind of dull. And what I've learned is often that's code for it's over compressed. And when I went back and listened, it absolutely was over compressed. And also the choices of sounds, I could have done a better job cutting through the mix. All right, vocals are really low in volume, can hardly be heard over the instrumental. Okay, so vocals again not cutting through. Felt the mix could have been more balanced and the vocals could have been more prominent. Same idea. The vocals are not up front like they really should be in this track. And then finally, the last comment, felt that the vocals got a little lost in the mix. So what this says to me, right? Looking back, the percussion could use a little tweak in terms of the sound choices and how they sit in the mix, and the vocal. The vocal itself, there was a lot of good comments on how it was sung, the overall production, but that it gets lost. It's a little too echoey. I didn't understand sidechain compression when I mixed this the first time. I do now, which will go a long way to helping with that. So based on that feedback, I'm going to go through and try to improve the song. That's what I'm going to do in this series. So I hope you come along with me for that journey. A lot of what I learned, I'm going to try to implement. One other point I wanted to make, though, is, these are all professionals giving me feedback. I mean, not all playlisters are professional listeners, but they're people that listen to a lot of music. So in that sense, they are professionals, right? They listen to songs all the time. They know what they like. They know what they want. It's a very critical ear in that sense, which is a gift. But you also, that's not the only way to get that feedback. I wanted to, maybe put a little code out there for our friends and family, right? So, you don't know anybody like you know your family. So I get feedback from my mom. My mom says, and she said it for the first 5 or 6 songs I put out there, I just can't understand it. And that gets back to the vocal piece, right? When my mom says I can't understand what's being said, that's a really good piece of feedback of, that vocal's probably not sitting right in the mix, or I've got too much going on with that. And it's ruining your ability to tune in on the lyrics. And if you don't care about the lyrics, maybe that's okay. But for me, lyrics are a big part of the songs that I write. My cousin Sally, she's an artist. She's very intuitive. If she likes a song, right, she'll call me right away and say, "This one made me cry." That's when I know that that kind of the chord progression, the lyrics, the overall feel of the song is hitting home. If she gives back, said, "Oh yeah, I kind of liked it," but that's a note to me that the overall scaffolding of the song probably needs some help. And I'm sure anybody listening to this, you've got some people in your life that can give you this kind of feedback. And if you put it through a filter of what does that really mean in terms of the mix and songwriting. A couple more. All right. So my 5-year-old, Sam, he has no inhibitions. He will, whatever his body and mind want to do or a move to do, he's going to do it. So if I put a song on that I'm working on and he starts dancing or he starts singing it in the car randomly, which he does, uh, that tells me I'm hitting home. I'm finding a vibe that resonates, and I could do all kinds of other stuff with it. But again, Sally kind of helps me with the chord and the lyrics. Is that hitting home and the melody? Um, and Sam really helps me to get the vibe of the song right. And then my daughter, similar to Sally, very intuitive. She has a knack for just being able to um, know when something's missing. We're writing songs, producing them. We hear all of these songs, thousands of times before we're done with them, right? Different parts of it. And we start to lose perspective. And my daughter, um, at the end of it, if she doesn't have any additional notes for me, that tells me that the production side of life is probably pretty solid, right? I can start to hone in on that. So probably got a little wordy. Just I've learned a lot about how to interpret what's being said, and I wanted to pass that along. Hope that has value to you guys. And so now to finish this out, I'm going to play the song in its current form all the way through. I'm going to be done talking, but I've already gone through and taken a lot of notes on what I want to do with this track, and I encourage you to do the same. Pick up a pen and paper and write back, right? If there's something that you think should be done in this mix or this production, I'd love to hear your feedback as I'm going through this process. So with no further ado, I'm going to stop talking. This is Humble King as it is out there today. And hopefully by the end of this, it's going to have a new life. All right. Thanks, everyone. Talk to you soon.
The right kind of change simmers in my veins, erodes the sands of indifference and a fixation on my penance. Can't care if anyone tells my story, as long as the next in line sees their glory. Press rewind and see me from a different place and time. Reperceive the limits of this tired and anxious mind. Can't care if anyone tells my story, as long as the next in line feels their glory. The dawn that is coming for us looms right behind that bus. No time to sit and chill today. No, pure force of will on display. My legacy stares at me, the best and the worst of me. Forged and bonded with me, the truest test of the worth of me. Stokes my fire.